Booyaka! It's Chad Warren. I hope you're not snoring. It's Friday, March 16th, 9:05 a.m. Central Time. Hot Springs, 60 degrees. Cloudy skies. Oh man, I can tell it's getting close to my birthday on the 20th because I always get happier this time of year. And this is going to be my car because I think I'm going to get this job today. I interviewed yesterday. Jason said he's going to call me at 4 today. It's just like minimum wage, but it's delivering liquor, which is some good that came out of the evil of COVID, evidently, because I've just been, interested in delivery as a business from the time that I've delivered for O'Reilly's Auto Parts and Uber, and I feel like in general there's going to be a change in this internet economy, so that after you drive your car for Uber and you look at the true cost of ownership of the vehicle, and then the increased amount of maintenance and repair that you make, that's questionable. But then I was just feeling like there's going to be people are going to figure out that it's like how NASA has to be subsidized by the government. The idea is that it was this important thing and nobody has enough money to do it, or one company can't do it, so that would be a legitimate use for a corporation, is the idea. Unfortunately, NASA's just a big scam, waste of money. But anyway, so I can understand that it makes sense to, use Facebook and Uber, but now we're all becoming more aware and they're having a revolutionary foment like with America, and now we're like, hey, like, we got to get this pinned down. Like, it really only matters what are the rules as far as the internet, because if you don't, I mean, the Constitution's going to be worthless if there's no crossover there. And data is bigger than oil, and I think we should consider that human trafficking, human slavery. We should at least get our money for our own flesh that's peddled. People knowing more about us and just swallowing us into their economic system with less freedom, predicting our behaviors better than we can. But yeah, so it's a super untapped market, and I was like, wow, because I've done some job going door to door, putting doorknob flyers out to advertise for a yard care company that mows the yard and sprays terrible chemicals to fertilize it and sprays for bugs and all that stuff. So I was like, I don't know, just I'd like to take hold of this emerging market where the internet and the real world are going to merge together. I think that there's going to be room for small companies to do that. Why isn't the church running its own food distribution service and ride service? Why would you give this money outside of there when all you need is an app? And I really think there's a low hanging fruit here where it's not hard to make an app. Now, I understand to compete with Uber or YouTube, there is a thing about money and unfairness to it, because we don't see genuine competitors to those. And that could have to do with the complexity of the tech to, do whatever. But I also think it's not really that hard to make an app. We don't really see small companies making apps. But even though I remember food delivery companies that were regional, local, and sold out to Grubhub and whatever when they moved in, I think that's going to change up as we move along. So that is interesting, and it sounds fun. I'm just going to be driving 90% of the time and stocking. It's like eastbound down, loaded up and trucking. We gonna do what they say can't be done. Kind of like the old bootlegging world, but now it's legal. So anyway, that'll be interesting. So yeah, I think it's something they expected. What was I hearing? $500 a week. 10% of that to expect in tips. So not a lot, but anyway, I need a job. Certainly, I've got this court date coming up, and I went to a lawyer, and looks like I'll be entering a not guilty plea. I feel really confident about that, but it's $1,000 retainer, and it'll look good that I have a job in a house to live in when I go to court and all that stuff. So that's what I'm focused on. But let's go through some other things. So let's see. So I'm just trying to do a new daily type of video and just what I'm actually looking at and just reporting on that for fun. Okay, so Rad the movie is going to be playing a special engagement in movie theaters. Have y'all ever done these? Is it Phantom events? Fathom events? They play older movies at the movie theater, and then they have even like live MMA fights and ballet, and I was always wanted to go to these, but I never have. So let's look at that. So I'll pull this up. Break the ice. Oh, well, let me show you what I got right here first. This is my link tree. And I should have this as my link on Twitter. I just did this buy me a coffee thing. If you could do that, I would appreciate it. And more than just, hey, give me money. What I'm trying to do in general is to organize our alternative media audience so that we start going to each other and figuring out solutions to problems instead of just being infotained, you know what I mean? And then, of course, how we relate to the podcasts right up here that's transmitting out to this group of us, So we can take ideas that we learn from our favorite podcasts and employ them in the real world. We can talk about what we think is important, so we're not constantly, what Trump do today? Trump, whoa, it's all about Trump. Whoa. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like, we have to be pushing this ball around instead of just reacting to, and the white people and the black people hating each other and killing each other on the Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, not only do I want you to buy me a coffee because I need the money, but because we need to learn how to support each other. So it's really more of a token representation of being genuine about that. It's not just money that we need to help each other. We need to help each other about being real friends. But we're all short on money. And I think that we have an opportunity to learn how to live like Mexicans and Asian people, which is like, the 30 of them to a house. And then over in China, whole families live in those giant apartments. So basically, the way I see it is if we shift from consumerism, where the Rothschilds and the royal family own the Burger Kings and all the power, and we're down here little slaves. Well, then that's a overuse of the male energy, right? It's a perversion of it, and we need to add the circle around that, which is the female energy, which now this is from a medieval alchemical perspective. Males and females have both energies in them. But I like the idea that the female energy focuses on relating with other people, which is kind of like, being a salesperson. This is where you get into their ability to schmooze and charm and talk and all this can be seen to be manipulative and kind of a pussy thing to do. But you're making a lot of money too, you know what I mean? I mean, they're generating a lot more money than the people that work hard all day at a factory. You know, the person that makes the deal that brings in 10, 100,000, $1,000,000. So we need to basically, instead of just bitching and moaning about getting screwed over by the man, the white man, or whatever we want to look at it as, we need to, like the labor movement or something, we need to deal with that stuff more internally. And we're going to have this, it doesn't dissipate the tensions between whatever, this job needs to be done, or race or language or whatever the difficulties, but problems are where business comes from. And really, that's the same about relationships, that our problems are our opportunities. So, I would like to figure out how we could not just support each other, buying each other a coffee, but we need to figure out banking and the ability for us to do micro lending, where we all pitch in $20 into an escrow type of protected account, and we have a private membership that we allow our people in. And there's like our own credit system of like, well, Chad borrowed $100. Did he repay it on time? You know what I mean? Like, we can run that ourselves and deal with the hassles of that and receive the rewards from that. Because we're going to be kicked out of the magic kingdom of Lucifer, and, if we don't have the chip and all that stuff. So we need to be doing this stuff anyway. All right, so that's the fundraising aspect. Now let's go to some stuff that was exciting me. Why can I not find this? I guess it's because I opened it on Facebook instead. Here we go. All right, Fathom Events. So my birthday's the 20th. I want to see this. It's on the 21st. You can just let's go back one here. See what other movies they have played. All right, so yeah, they got. I never heard of The Chosen. Labyrinth, March 17th. The Ark and the Darkness, Rad. Some kind of Met opera, Romeo and Juliet. Rascal Does Not Dream, double feature, some anime. I don't know much about that. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, no thank you. Someone Like You. Gone with the Wind, no thank you. Irina's Vow, some kind of Nazi thing. The Hopeful, oh, here's the same woman with the head covering. La Rondine, Miracles at the Movies. Locke and Signorelli. I guess that's Christian. I thought it was a magician. Jean de Berry. What is that? Johnny Depp. Some kind of Steel Magnolias. That's all right. Madama Butterfly. Multiply. The Muppet Movie. Oh, I want to see that. 45th anniversary, June 2nd. Jesus Thirst, The Miracle of the Eucharist. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Yes, June 23rd. And I feel really bad because they have movies like this that are they even free, or they're cheap at this Ron Robinson Theater, downtown Little Rock. I've never organized enough. I want to go to these things locally. So that's a whole thing, too, getting people organized locally. I'm in Hot Springs, and I go to Little Rock, so Arkansas. Never Ending Story. Man and Witch, The Dance of 1,000 Steps. Blazing Saddles, Rear Window, August, September. Fifth Element, and I'd rather see Mean Girls than The Fifth Element. White Christmas, I don't really remember that one. I mean, as much as we've heard the song. Anywho, I thought this was kind of interesting. Really, man, I wish we could team up with a cool local movie theater and have like our own deal like this without going through this big company. I was talking with my friend Mason. He used to have movie nights locally, so I'd like to get that going again. I'd like to get that going maybe once a week on YouTube, these watch parties or watch together. Let me know if you're interested in watching a movie together or some other sporting events, just trying to make a more real. We're already on this internet, I would at least rather have real relations with people and get that going. So that's something cool I'm excited about. And let's go ahead and read something that caught my eye. And that is on Twitter. And that was shared by Dr. Robert, who you can find on End of Days Radio. Let me pull that up, which is today. Now I think I'm going to get a call at 4, so I don't know how available I probably will be, but I don't know what's up about that job. He'll probably just tell me I've got the job or something. But I think at 5 p.m. Central Time, or 3 Pacific, is when the show comes on. And you've probably heard me say before, it's one of the few shows I like as far as all this truther stuff, because not only do they have awesome guests, but they have a great panel. I'll be right back. I got to pause. Okay, back. So, yes, End of Days Radio. I think that there will be one today. There usually is. Let's see. That was me last week. I assume there'll be one today, but I don't know. So endofdaysradio.com or End of Days Radio on YouTube, 5 p.m. Central. Check that out. But yeah, that's where I know Dr. Robert from. And he has a show within that show called Down the Rabbit Hole with Dr. Robert, where he's been going over like Manson, cool different older investigative reporting about MK Ultra and all that kind of stuff.
Certainly can't have those kind of.
So in that regard, I want to read something here shared by the cows at Justice. What is Dr. Robert's handle? At Dr. Robert 607-28667. So, here we go. So much I can say about this one report. Published 1 year before Jonestown, this report was ripped out of the Library Journal. Cites the San Francisco CIA brothels, drug pens, Stanford University, Psychology Today, November 11th, 1977, 372 days before the Jonestown Massacre. The CIA's electric Kool-Aid acid test. I miss magazines, we can't read that little top part. Well, that's what we need to do. What was in the minds of the men who for 2 decades pursued the dream of a mind-controlled drug, and how did they see the practical and ethical issues? By Tad Zuick. Something like that. Is my water boiling? Yeah. Be right with you. I'm just making another cup of coffee. 3 cheers for instant coffee. Yay. Now, when you use instant coffee, does that make you get more of a dose? Because you're only supposed to put like a tablespoon in there or something. Artificial creamer. Water's boiling. Pour it in. Hot Springs Finest right there. All right, so LSD-25 is the most potent psychochemical agent available at the present time. Trace quantities of LSD-25 create serious mental confusion of the maniac and schizophrenic type and render the mind temporarily susceptible to suggestion. But there are as yet insufficient data to confirm or deny its usefulness for eliciting true and accurate statements from subjects under its influence. Because LSD-25 is colorless, odorless, and tasteless, it could possibly be used clandestinely for the contamination of food and water. Abby Hoffman talked about putting it in the water supply. Although the data on its stability in solution are conflicting. Yeah, I think that was an issue. Since the effect of the drug is temporary, in contrast to the fatal nerve agents, there are important strategic advantages for its use in certain operations. Of the other known psychogenic drugs, mescaline produces reactions that are the most similar to those of LSD-25. Although no Soviet data are available on LSD-25, it must be assumed that the scientists of the USSR are thoroughly cognizant of the strategic importance of this powerful drug and are capable of producing it at any time. For a change, the Central Intelligence Agency was onto something before most of the rest of the world had discovered it. The year was 1955, and the analysis was from a report of the agency's Office of Scientific Intelligence titled Strategic Medical Significance of Lysergic Acid Diethylamide. Some researchers had already begun to experiment with LSD on their own in those days without any help from the CIA, but the drug cult of the 1960s was far in the future. Timothy Leary and Richard Alpert were only a couple of struggling young assistant professors. Supplies of the powerful hallucinogen were not even available on the U.S. market, and little was known about its effects on personality and behavior. See Box, page 101. Indeed, it's not unreasonable to speculate that the CIA sponsored research with LSD during the 1950s in private institutions and hospitals contributed in some modest way to the drug culture by turning many people onto the drug. See, doesn't this make you want to have a magazine for our alternative media community, like zines? That's what I'm working on with Internet's magazine. Basically, I just made like a postcard size flyer. It's Internet's. It's got the woman on the bicycle, pretty old picture, different articles. There's a QR code. So then you get a digital magazine, and then we could do that kind of a thing. Advertise each other's shows, and have products for sale that we sell, and all that would be very cool. And to put those up publicly, like if you have the internet, but I have people in every city that are going to be putting up digital magazines in this little format like this, that's like saying something important that needs to be said, but it's funny, it's interesting, you know what I mean? Like on gas pumps, stickers. I mean, I would have that all day when they start censoring us. Then we'll be the underground. That's cool, man. Okay. Research with LSD, the CIA, during the 1950s in private institutions and hospitals contributed in some modest way to the drug culture by turning many people onto the drug. Yeah, it's interesting how in the 70s there was some knowledge. This stuff was discussed publicly by the mainstream media, but I mean, I guess it's not like that was any more legitimate, because that's the problem we have with this alternative media is we can talk about these things all day. That doesn't mean anything. That we need to get rid of this phrase, the truth will set you free, knowledge is power. Bullshit, you know what I mean? That's like saying it's how you apply it. It's how you play the hand you're dealt with poker more than having the best hand, Anyway, so as described in the electric Kool-Aid acid test, Ken Kesey and his merry pranksters first took the drug in 1959 as an experimental subject at the Stanford University Medical School, one of the institutions recently notified by the CIA that it was a site for research associated with the mind control program. America's intelligence chiefs were interested in some kind of truth drug as far back as 1943 when the wartime Office of Strategic Services, OSS, experimented with marijuana. But the CIA's interest in drugs and behavioral research was, during the 1950s, awakened by reports that the Soviet Union had made giant strides in developing chemical compounds for brainwashing. Government officials had been impressed by the confessions of Hungary's late Joseph Cardinal Mindszenty during his trial in 1949. CIA specialists were convinced he had been brainwashed with drugs and with the apparent brainwashing of American prisoners of war in North Korea. Under the circumstances, the agency was fearful that its own agents could be brainwashed, and in 1950 it embarked on defensive research to find ways of protecting them. What CIA scientists eagerly sought at the outset was a drug that might neutralize the suspected Russian compounds and prevent agents from revealing information. Taking shape as it did in the early 1950s, when the Cold War was the central concern of U.S. foreign policy, the defensive research was expanded almost overnight to encompass offensive work as well, the testing and development of drugs such as LSD that the CIA could use for its investigations of enemy personnel. During almost a quarter of a century, the CIA conducted or sponsored at least 419 secret drug testing projects. The experiments were part of a broader program that also explored other means of mind and behavioral control, such as hypnosis and even implantation of electrodes in the brain. Although the agency tested compounds ranging from mescaline to extracts from poisonous mushrooms, the key drug was LSD-25, a synthetic variation on a compound found in a fungus. The tests were conducted at a cost of at least $25 million at 86 United States and Canadian hospitals, prisons, universities, and military installations, as well as the agency's own safe houses, quote unquote, where they have is that where they have the whores that get the information on people? In Washington, New York, and San Francisco. The subjects of the test were at first largely CIA volunteers, and indeed some of the agency's top scientists took LSD to see how it affected their intellectual faculties. But eventually the agency found other subjects among narcotics addicts under treatment, federal prisoners, terminal cancer patients in charity wards, college students, and fun-seeking Johns, yes, entrapped at $100 a head by CIA-controlled prostitutes. Just how much they were all told about LSD before they were given the drug remains unclear, but by the agency's own admission, many were unwitting subjects, although ethical standards for such experiments were. Oh no. Does this not have all of it? Are you shitting me? Not cool. Not cool. Where's the rest of the damn... I made a mistake. Let's try to find that. Oh, you can't. Yeah, you can. Now, after this, I'm going to show you what I have researched regarding this TikTok ban House bill that passed the House. Check your spelling. Oh, wow. This is what the cover looked like? I remember reading Psychology Today. I'm going to buy it there. Huh. Let's see, this one. That's 74. I don't think that's the right one. Well, I guess that we can't find that easily. So we'll move on to that TikTok ban discussion. So that's going to be Go to Chad's profile. Chad Warren 653-39549, whatever. Give me a break. Okay. Wait, what is it? Oh, yeah, I want to go see Rad. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Who wants to ban TikTok? The ADL. They can't handle criticism of their terrorist banking gangster state, so they must ban free speech. We are spied on by our own government and corporations, so this is not about protecting we the people. I did pick up this story from Harrison Smith at the American Journal, which is Alex Jones, but it was a big story. And, my general approach to the law is like, I don't really know that there is any kind of political solution. I don't know how much faith I have in this justice system to do what it says, but I think we should exhaust all of our energy in independently trying to achieve goals through the legal system, both suing people, showing that all kinds of things are unconstitutional, like I was talking with Mason, my local friend here last night, and he said in some state they are dealing with the fact that it is a debtor's prison to use these family courts and demand child support, but like every day that you don't come in after 2 weeks, I understand the man needs to do his job and pay for his kids, but if this is being used, because that's illegal to you know put you in a position where you can never pay back your debt, and that causes problems for people beyond just those people that get in that situation. It becomes a societal problem as far as families and crime and all kinds of stuff. Drug abuse, suicide, all these things are affected by this. So we're going to have to start understanding that what happens to somebody else is happening to you, and really mean it, and negotiate if we can. But so in regards to this story, we'll go into that here. Well, here's the people that did vote against the ban. Okay, uh, which is like 65 of them against 352 votes. Okay. One of the few issues that unites Democrats and Republicans. I mean, come on. That's like about as unbelievable that all these nations of Earth are constantly at war, but they're not in Antarctica or the Arctic Circle or whatever it is, Come on, give me a break. It's all bogus. So we need to be using this thing against them. Right? Them being the New World Order, the Luciferians, or the corporations, right? Corporations and computers are kicking the pants off of everything: religion, science, education, government. So this is dissolving our boundaries. Of course, we have the illegal migrant invasion that's orchestrated by some George Soros type of third party, and until we don't have any borders. Now, nations, see, this is my thing. It's like the thing about race. It's like, okay, like who's really in charge of these races? Do you really think it's like the people themselves, or do you think it is these secret societies? I think it's the secret societies. I mean, they're the ones that have the KKK, first of all, which is the Democrats. But meaning that you have eugenics, the whole Nazis, and then you have how all of that is being dealt with in terms of managing the human population and saying it's to save the earth, of killing people around the world, and genetic manipulation. And then the Luciferian Masons, they talk about 66, is that right? The Great Work, or is it 88? But yeah, I think all this colors of the rainbow is them managing these races. You know what I mean? And then like the great work is basically, yeah, it's like separating out into these races, into these nations which they controlled, and then fusing all those together. So you've got like, oh yeah, you're mixing the opposites, and you got Trump is married to his wife who's the daughter of a communist leader, right? And then like you got free speech, but it's because of Elon, this feudal corporate lord. It's not from national constitutional law. So they're confusing everybody until we all are corrupt and capitulate to the point that we've enslaved ourselves. Not that we shouldn't. That's the solution to that would be more active in deciding how is this going to go down. You know, because we all want to travel the world. We want to be connected with everybody as a human family, just not via the Vatican and the UN. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to like start with where we're at. People believe in voting. You know, I don't believe that. You see, that's the thing. You didn't believe it when Trump was elected originally, even his supporters, right? And then we don't believe that he lost and that Biden somehow got more votes than Obama. But to me, that just shows you don't control any of that. So we should direct those people at least towards an issue like this of like, okay, we'll do something about something instead of just talking about it, because this should stimulate this conversation about how we're going to deal with the internet and constitutional law. And I'll show the actual bill itself, and what a hassle this is to find this information as somebody that's not really involved in politics, because you see all these articles, they all say the same thing. None of them have a hyperlink directly to the House bill. None of them name the House bill. I mean, that itself is a valid conspiracy. You, corporate media, are blocking people from seeing this information. And you're jumping in here and messing with people's heads with your bias. Although it seemed pretty fair, really, how I saw this discussed. So we'll just scan through these as I talk here. So see, I didn't see any from Arkansas, which surprises me since Trump spoke out against this. Now, I'm no fan of TikTok. I see it as the most damaging to our youth. And I'm familiar with, I heard that is where a lot of the more exciting conspiracy content is, although I guess everything's a short there, which I don't like. The only way I like shorts is ads for content. I think that's good, but not like doing stupid stunts and all that. So yeah, the claim is that because TikTok is controlled by a company that is beholden to the Communist Chinese Party, the Chinese Communist Party (CCP), that they're these lawmakers on both sides are protecting the Americans from the evil Chinese spies. Bullshit. No, it's the Zionists that don't want there to be any criticism of the war crimes that the state of Israel commits. Not that I support the Palestinians, but I mean, all of us are harassed by the Rothschilds that own the entire. They started the whole Israel thing. None of those people have anything to do with even the Hebrews in the Bible. You know, God's not writing different books for different people and having them fight world wars. Get out of town. There's nobody's chosen people sent here from interdimensional space to rule the world, as these Kabbalah nuts say. Okay. Not that it's not. Somebody's going to do it, you know what I mean? So it's either these psychos that think they're better than all of us, or we get up to the plate and start hitting some balls and making base runs here. So let's try to make something happen with this, I say. Um, and my comment was that, well, what's more of a threat? TikTok? Now maybe it is the Chinese government and they are taking advantage of our freedom of speech laws to put this information out there that highlights the hypocrisy and passive aggression of the state of Israel and its Zionist supporters. I think that's what's going on because that would serve them militarily. And so, yeah, we've got to learn how to play all these nations against each other since there are no sovereign nations. They're all controlled by the Vatican and the Luciferian Freemasons, etc. So, and that's what communitarianism is anyway. Like I was saying, is the merging of opposites. So they're making Russia and China maybe appear to be more free, and then they're bringing the Chinese social credit score. You can't say something the government doesn't like that Trump supports, by the way. In regards to, he took away the contract of a black male dentist in Texas because he suggested that we should boycott and divest and sanction the state of Israel for their war crime behavior. And so who is this? With both political parties eager to seem tough on China, okay, particularly during an election year, cracking down on TikTok is an easy move, but critics of the bill have accused lawmakers of seeking to make themselves look good instead of actually enacting meaningful legislation. Let me just highlight. This is the New Republic. I think we can look at that in the browser. Okay, so we're deeply disappointed that our leaders are once again attempting to trade our First Amendment rights for cheap political points during an election year. Jenna Leventoff, Senior Policy Counsel at the American Civil Liberties Union, big free speech advocates traditionally, said in a statement last week. But that isn't this group typically more against the right these days? But just because the bill sponsors claim that banning TikTok isn't about suppressing speech, there's no denying that it would do just that. Yeah, Trump said, "Hey, why cut TikTok out only to make Facebook bigger?" I mean, I certainly support. We need to not have all of our eggs in one basket, whether it's at X or anywhere. I need to get more active over at Gab. I pay for that subscription. I need to get a group going over there. So, and shouldn't we be seeing some positives about all the changes in geopolitics of like, okay, these people are separating from the dollar and going to the BRICS, but like, where's the upside of being able to go and deal with these countries now that we're not so loyal to you? I mean, you know what I mean? It's becoming more complicated because all of the nations spy on each other. That's the agreement. Like, okay, yeah, we're not spying on you with the CIA, but we're spying on the other nations, and those nations are spying on you. So it's the same thing. We need to grow up and understand that corporations and computers have surpassed the government structures. And this is ancient, man. Like the City of London, 1054. These merchants had to figure out, if somebody screws me over on an international business deal, they didn't have international law. So they ended up going, look, we'll use your national courts to these kings of France or wherever to settle these merchant disputes instead of us doing it out in the field and cutting somebody's head off or lying to us or stealing. And that's what happened, and that's where all the merchants' de facto law comes from instead of the de jure law of these Mayflower Compact and the Constitution. Okay, so let me go back and then let's look at, here is the actual text of the bill. Okay, I believe this is the one that they're talking about. H.R. 7521, Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. This is congress.gov. Typed in TikTok there. And because it says passed House. That's what did just happen the other day. I don't know that this was there yesterday. This latest action. And then right down here, contact your member of Congress. So let's look at that. You just type in your address, and I sent a letter to Congressman Westerman, who it is for a big chunk of Arkansas, and that, where is that? Oh, that's how you look it up. Okay. I have been charged. So I said something like this. Dear Congressman Westerman, I am writing to you concerning H.R. 7521, Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. I'm sure this could have been a lot more professional. If you want to share any criticism or any experience you have with writing Congress members, I appreciate it, and about being involved in politics in general. Which I assume is the bill concerning the ban of the TikTok app unless they divest of CCP ownership. This is being supported as a way to keep Americans safe from data spying from foreign nations. I don't believe this is really why this bill is being supported. I think criticism of the state of Israel is what certain parties fear, and that this is a veiled attack on free speech. I'm no fan of the CCP, but many are aware that we are being spied on legally by corporations more than directly by governments. Why shouldn't we see a company like Apple that throws away American values like free speech and defending human labor abuses, as well as the abuse of the Muslims over there living in slavery, just to enter the Chinese market as just as much of a threat to American security as the CCP itself? So, that's what I said there. And yada yada. So I hope you have a good Friday. I want you to check out my community on X. $1,400 by my homeowners association because you can park something like this. Wowzers, something like this. Is this where I go? Oh, that's where I record. Yes. Okay, this is my community truth-seeking alt media digest. So the idea is I'm trying to get this going to have shorts that are ads. This is one of them right here. This is 7 minutes and 15 seconds of an excerpt from when I was invited on to the Mental Breakthrough with Dr. C.D. Christopher. And so I want you to submit your shorts to advertise your favorite content, whether it's something you made or it's your favorite show. And then, give me some keywords, give me an actual what's in the show, give me a review. And especially what I'm trying to figure out is things you can take action on. You know what I mean? This is talking about how I've been able to camp in the national parks for years because I didn't have money and all this stuff, and being on both sides of having money, not having money, and all of that kind of thing. And the experiences I've had with these intentional communities, like my friend Colin is a fan of Owen Benjamin, and I thought that was all cultish. And I didn't really like Owen Benjamin, but I was surprised that, I like these get-togethers with these people. They're about as wild as you can be and still be Christian family, live in the country type of deal. And they really are, having a good community building thing. So I respect that. And anyway, so that's what I'm looking for, is that we make these ads, and I want a variety of contents. Could be sports, could be art, uh, especially if it's in your real world, um, so that we can create one channel that you can just sit back and watch, and it's going to be more entertaining. It's going to have us do more because there's going to be a button or an action prompt after every piece of information about how you should contact your representative, because I've discussed that, and look into this bill, etc. And I think that's going to be really exciting. I was inspired by a documentary called Z Channel. Not the part where the guy commits suicide and kills his wife, but but the part where he started the first pay TV station in LA in the 70s, 80s, when all this amazing independent film came out. Like me growing up watching HBO, you get the little magazine and then back to zines, and it would tell you what's on and feature stuff. But then Z Channel was like amazing, before the internet and all that jazz. And he was just had a great taste in cinema and programming, and had that time and opportunity to put this amazing channel together. So that would be awesome if we could do that. All right, that's it. Have a happy Friday. Please like, comment, share, and buy me a coffee if you feel so desired. I will have that link in the description. So that is buymeacoffee.com/Chad Warren. And then if you want to get the best deals on precious metals online, or you can buy these from me in person, I highly recommend mintbuilder.com. I'll have that link. It'll be mintbuilder.com/1005212. But I'll go ahead and walk you through this a little bit. There are retail, wholesale, and resale options available. And the real value of this is that, when you learn about any topic, it's the again, the community that you're in, helping each other out. That is that's what like the CIA, they tell you that most of the information we have is open source information. So it's just these bankers and these Vatican people that hire intelligent people to analyze information and have like a mastermind group where they're, you know what I mean? Like, we can do all this stuff ourselves, and we should. So one example is that, say you want to buy a 100-ounce silver or gold bar. Well, that's a lot of money. And then the way that they're able to say they give you the best deals is because they are selling from the group. Like, you can buy precious metals and have them stored at this, this company's safe facility, right? And then they will handle those like consignment. Like, somebody can buy it there, so you're getting kind of the best of both worlds. And also, you are in this example buying a 100-ounce silver bar, let's say, and the reason why you get a better price is because somebody in the group bought that bar when let's say it was $20 per ounce when they bought the 100-ounce bar. So that's what, $2,000, okay, that they paid. Well, if the price goes up to 25 an ounce, then you have that $5 difference per ounce to profit from. So you pick the price that you sell it at, and there's different reasons why you're going to pick different prices. Do you need the money right now, etc. But that way you're buying from the group. Okay, that's what the website is good about, is teaching people in this new age how to have a group like you would have physically at a Elks Club or some group in the past. Okay, and then you're also paying a monthly fee of $25 or something like that until you pay it off, and then you can get physical possession. So, and then you could even like sell your shares of it if you didn't own it. You see what I'm saying? It's more ideas and people that you cooperate with is how you have a bank. It's how you have these advantages of money more than the money itself. But let's look here. Let's see what we're talking about. You can buy just at retail, wholesale, or resale. Now, I am not currently paying for one of these subscriptions because to justify that, I would have to have enough people that I was reselling to, whether online or locally, to justify paying for that expense that gives me discounts on purchasing precious metals and all these other advantages. And they do feed children. It's one of the best Feed My Starving Children charities that actually gets the money to where it goes when you buy that subscription. And you get like, depending on, there's like a $20 or $40 per month option, which again, that's optional, but you're going to get every month some precious metal that you've agreed to buy, whether it's gold backs or 1 ounce silver coin or something like that. And anyway, so let's look at some of the products real quick. Here you're seeing the difference in the price. The retail is 276, and then it goes 238 and 229 if you pay that 20 or $40 a month. So yeah, that's pretty dope, huh? Some kind of weird transhumanist singularity British coin, 2022 3 ounce Cook Islands silver burst. My Mint wallet, that's what I was talking about of buying the share in the bar. So you'd either be paying $24.85 down to $22.10 a month, or you can buy more shares of it, and then you get it when you pay for it enough. Um, Top 5 bullion coins starter pack. So these are 1 ounce. Now, see, I don't understand why they're calling it bullion, because here's what's confusing me. That's a coin. That is bullion that has a stamp on it, which gives it collectible value, but it's not a coin. This is a Liberty dollar up at the top. That's a coin. So it's confusing me. But so that's 170. Morgan silver dollar, date of our choice, 1901. It's cool. That's 58 or 33.95. A kilo silver bar of our choice, 948 to 833. Australia 1 ounce silver kangaroo dollar coin, 33.21, 29.31. These are what I'm big into, the gold backs. They're gold that's printed one atom at a time onto a plastic bill that can be dispensed from a new product called a gold ATM. Okay, so that's 5 thousandths of an ounce, I believe. Yeah, 1/200th of an ounce, same thing. 2 times 5. So you're going to get 23.97 down to 18.97 for one of those. Or then they have the 1 thousandth of an ounce, and these are issued by states and can be used by. I mean, people can use them for in lieu of cash because of the state laws about currency, evidently. Something like that, I think is true. And then it's cheap as $5.97, $4.75. I'm a big fan of these. Been supporting this new product. There you go. And then heck, you've even got like 1 gram silver bars. But any of this is going to be better than lottery tickets or cash sitting in your bank. And yeah, you have to learn some stuff. You have to learn that you can go to the pawn shop and sell this stuff at any time. Braswell and Sons, and it's probably universal, they buy at 90% of spot. So worst case scenario, that's what you're able to do. So even if it's just like holding on to some money so you don't spend it, like how you'd put money in a savings account. All the time I've buy these coins and sell them within the month if I'm desperate. You know what I mean? But it's just a good habit to get into. There you go. Thank you, folks. Have a great day.